Hello. My name is Joel Higgins, and you are listening to the very first installment, very, very excited about it, of a little show I am calling TMI, which stands for Tech Media Ire. I know Ire, it's so wrathful and epic sounding, I guess, and hopefully we're going to get into a little epicness. This is going to be a pretty short show right off the bat. I'll just throw that out there, and pretty much the reason for that is we're still working out all the technical mumbo-jumbo bullshit that you have to do to get podcasts out there. So I thought I'd try a little short one, see what you guys think of it, throw it out there, see if you like it, and then if it works out, we'll go longer and longer and longer in the future. Right off the bat, brief introduction about myself. If you don't know me, my name, as I said, is Joel Higgins, and probably the first thing you should know about me is that I'm not just some random ignorant fool saying whatever I want about the tech media industries. I actually do review these sorts of things and watch them for a living over at slumpedover.com and tvice.com. I write for both of those guys. Tvice is the tech site that I write for, and it's actually not completely launched yet. I think its launch is coming up around August-ish. Slumpedover.com, on the other hand, is fully launched and is not just tech exclusive. It hosts all sorts of articles from all sorts of people about all sorts of things, including myself. So, how this show is going to work, pretty much exactly like the title indicates. We're going to have a tech section, and then we're going to have a media section. In media, we're going to be talking about movies, video games, music, pretty much anything that you could slump into the general category of media. We're going to be talking about it. And then the last thing is going to be ire. Dun, dun, dun. And ire is the time in the podcast where I sort of talk about something that's been on my mind that makes me a little angry. And we're going to discuss it, or passionate, or something like that. I don't know. It's the first show. I'm still figuring this shit out. So, and then we'll conclude, and we'll do a brief recap of everything that we talked about today. So, short show today, rather. I should be able to talk if I'm going to do a podcast, right? I should be able to enunciate and make myself clear. Haven't really gotten that good at that so far. But let's start out with tech. For tech today, I just want to talk about one thing, and that is a little piece of hardware that's gotten a lot of publicity lately called Microsoft Surface. Now, if you haven't heard of Microsoft Surface, it is Microsoft's latest offering to the hardware lineup, and it's not out yet, and it may never come out. And I'll tell you why. I hope it doesn't come out, actually. I hope they just do away with this thing, because they did a keynote speech not too long ago on the Microsoft Surface, and they showed it, and it's very pretty and glossy and thin and lightweight and all this stuff, and it looks all right, I guess. I guess probably the best way to describe it is it's kind of like the iPad, except it doesn't really work. In their demo, this is like the funniest shit I've seen in a long time. In their demo, they've got, 3 or 4 different people who are demoing different parts of it, and this one demo guy comes up, and he's running through sort of the functionality of the thing, and it's got Windows 8 built into it. That's something else that's important to know here, their next operating system. And this next bit, this thing I'm about to tell you, probably doesn't bode well for Microsoft Surface or Windows 8, because the dude was running through the thing and hit Internet Explorer. The link there for Internet Explorer on the Microsoft Surface, and the fucking thing froze on stage in front of all these really, really important tech bloggers and shit. Just froze, and the dude acted like nothing happened, of course, because he's not going to be like, "Oh fuck, guys, my Surface just froze. Can I get another one?" No, he just acted like nothing happened and walked away and moved on to some other platform and started talking about something else with the Surface. But I just think like this is just perfect. I mean, if you guys know me at all, I'm a huge Mac guy. I'm not like a fanboy in that I'm only devoted to Mac in so much as their products work for me. And so far, there's been almost nothing that Microsoft has offered outside of gaming that has worked for me in like the past 5 or 6 years. And I say outside of gaming because I am a 360 fan. But most of the reason I'm a 360 fan is for the game lineup and not so much for the functionality of the 360. I've messed around with the PS3 and Wii, and, you know, they're alright. I'd say Wii is probably my least favorite, just because the games are all pretty fucking dumb, if I'm being honest. I mean, you got Mario and Zelda, but then outside of that, and like Smash Brothers and spin-off series, Mario Kart and stuff like that, and outside of that, I don't really give a shit about any of the Wii games, at least not the ones I've played. And even the last Zelda game I played on it, which granted was the first one that came out on the Wii, I don't know. It was no Ocarina of Time, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, getting back to the point here, I'm not a Macintosh fanboy, rather. I will be the first to switch off of Macintosh when their products stop serving my needs, but it looks like Microsoft Surface not gonna get me off of the iPad anytime soon, because the fucking thing, they can't even get it to work long enough to get through a demo. Fucking hilarious. Go watch it if you haven't. Just go to YouTube and type in Microsoft Surface, and it's the first link up there. And wait till, you know, dude tries to open Internet Explorer. It's just hilarious. So we're gonna wrap up the tech section there. As I said, it's gonna be a pretty short show today. Those two words in conjunction are pretty hard to fucking say. I don't know. Try it. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Moving on to media. I've seen 3 movies lately that I really, really want to talk about, all 3 of them. And we're going to sort of talk about these in order from the most shitty to the absolute most epic awesome movie that I've seen lately. And we're going to start with the most shitty movie I've seen lately. And that is a little piece of dog shit called Snow White and the Huntsman. Of course, starring the ever-moody, icy-eyed, stupid Twilight woman, if you can call her that. I think she's more like a preteen girl. Kristen Stewart, and then Thor is in it. Chris Hemsworth and Charlize Theron is also in there. So I went to see this movie, and I'm not like so against Twilight that I automatically hate anything that the cast of Twilight ever does. But I'm pretty close to that. I hate those movies so much that I'm almost to the point where if you were in them, I'm probably not going to like a movie that you're in now. All that aside, though, this movie has one of the coolest opening acts I've ever seen. The first act of the movie lasts probably a good like 20-25 minutes into it. And then the second act, so long, so boring, just wanders all over the goddamn place. And then the third act is completely disjointed and doesn't really resolve anything that's been presented. The performances, Kristen Stewart annoys the shit out of me. I don't really care what she does. She was alright as Joan Jett. I'll give her that in, what was it? I forgot the fucking name of that movie. She was in it, and that other Twilight chick was in it with her as well, Dakota Fanning. There we go. About the Blackhearts. So she was alright in that. She was alright in Adventureland. But I've never really seen her do anything better than just alright. And Snow White was certainly no exception to that. Chris Hemsworth had a stock character that he did the best he could with. I wish I could say the same. Like, I know if you're listening, you're probably wondering, well, didn't Kristen Stewart just have a stock character? Aren't they in the same boat? Why are you picking on her? Well, A, I fucking hate her. B, she didn't have a stock character. She had a badass. She had a badass who had the potential to be really a strong female lead, and she just blew it with her epic moodiness, and it was annoying as hell to watch. And then you got Charlize Theron in there. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Charlize these days. She was not good in this movie. She was probably the best thing in this movie, but that's not really saying much. So my recommendation for this one, don't bother. Not worth your time. You're not going to enjoy it very much. The end. The second movie I want to talk about in terms of awesomeness is Rock of Ages. Now, I want to be really, really clear about Rock of Ages. Rock of Ages is not really a good movie. Meaning, if you're going to it to analyze the 3-act structure and follow a really detailed plot line and, thoroughly enjoy your the dramatic movement and the emotional tension, you're going to the wrong fucking movie. That's not happening in this movie. What is happening in this movie is a really, really generic storyline, really, really stock characters, and then really, really stock main characters, and then a whole slew of side characters, which are fucking awesome, and a bunch of 80s songs, which are equally fucking awesome. I won't lie to you guys, sometimes the mashups of the 80s songs going in this movie felt a little Glee-like to me, because a lot of the mashups, they flow really well in the film, but then you start thinking about them contextually, and you start thinking about the way they were presented in the 80s, and you sort of start thinking, well, these songs maybe shouldn't really go together, but they do, and that feels sort of, like I said, Glee-based, whatever, fucking, it's loud, it's in the theater, it's a good time. Try and shut off your brain, and you're going to enjoy this movie. Everybody's talking about Tom Cruise as Stacey Jacks in this film, and yeah, he was good, but, the thing about Tom Cruise is, Tom Cruise is a good actor, right? I don't think anybody ever had trouble with Tom Cruise because of his acting skills, and he's a decent singer, I guess. He's not great, but, you don't really have to be great to sing those songs. But, my thing with Tom Cruise was never, hey, you're a bad actor. My thing with Tom Cruise was, you're fucking crazy, and you annoy the shit out of me when you're doing anything that is not in a movie. Every time you're in a movie, I'm cool. Outside of a movie, you annoy the shit out of me. Shut up, right? He's good in this, because he's a good actor. Because his acting skills aren't really what are in question, if you ask me. What's in question is how fucking crazy he is. So he's good as Stacey Jacks, and that really didn't surprise me. I was sort of expecting him to be good, because he's good in almost everything I've seen him in. What really shocked me, though, and what I was really, really happy to see, was the teaming up of Russell Brand and Alec Baldwin in this film, and they play like this duo. It's Dennis and Lonnie, I think are their names. So they play this duo. Alec owns the club where all this shit takes place. It's like, the Sunset, dive bar where all the 80s bands got their start, whatever bullshit. And Stacey Jacks, Tom Cruise's character in there, gets his start in the club and then plays a gig, or 2 gigs, I guess, in the club after that. But yeah, him and Russell Brand works at the club. And I don't want to give too much away about their relationship. When you see the movie, you'll understand why I don't want to give too much about their relationship, because it evolves. It's probably one of the only emotionally evolving relationships in the movie that has any sort of credibility or any sort of interest for me when I was watching it. It's fucking hilarious, no doubt about it. They take this relationship to a completely surprising but totally believable place that just shocked me and thrilled me, and I laughed and I cheered. And they've got this moment, especially, I think it's pretty close to the second act closing in the film, where, their relationship just goes to this whole other place, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. Fucking awesome. Loved it. I love to see my boy Russell getting work to begin with, because after that whole Katy Perry bullshit, I don't like Katy Perry. I should preface this. I'm not a Katy Perry fan. In the epic, Katy Perry versus Russell Brand juxtaposition, which side do you fall on? I fall on Russell Brand. I don't even think about Katy Perry. Who the fuck cares about Katy Perry? Whatever, done. Russell Brand, talented dude, funny, makes me laugh. One of the very few British comedians to be good enough to break into American film and TV. Now he's got a show coming on FX soon, I think it's called. Brand X, maybe, something like that. Yeah, I'm a huge Russell Brand fan. Loved Getting to the Greek. Loved he did I think it was for BBC, he did a documentary on Kerouac's, Jack Kerouac's On the Road. This is one of my favorite novels of all time, where he and his friend Matt, his comedy writing friend Matt, went from, basically charted the course that Jack Kerouac talks about in that book. So I'm just saying all this to let you know, I'm a Russell Brand fan, so it probably shouldn't be that surprising to you that he was my favorite part. Him and Alec Baldwin, who I always love, were my favorite part in this movie. So that's Rock of Ages. Again, if you want to get, like I did, me and my fiance went to a bar downtown on Saturday morning and got a little, fucked up. I don't know what the kids are saying these days. I still call it fucked up. Maybe they've got some weird phrase for it. We got slunkered on the sauce. That's what I call it. I don't know. Anyway, and then we went and saw this movie, and probably because of that, it was a great time for me. Again, don't analyze it too deeply. It's not going to be one you're going to get on like Blu-ray or keep on your shelf or get a poster or, wait for the sequel or some bullshit like that. But it is a good time.